business is lonely. Let's be real. Find support, find a network, find people, find a coach, find a mentor, find whatever you need to do, but don't do it alone. How do the wealthy think? Well, the wealthy don't do everything themselves. They have systems in place.
Hey, welcome to Scaling with Confidence. I'm Olu Sobanjo, entrepreneur, coach, consultant, and pastor, here to bring you dynamic conversations with high-level individuals who are scaling 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses. We believe that every entrepreneur has a unique story and purpose that can inspire others and positively impact the world. And if you are an entrepreneur who's ready to share your journey and insight, visit scalingwithconfidence.com/guest to apply to be a guest on the show. You are going to love this show. You're going to hear real stories from real people who are ready to inspire, challenge, and empower you. We don't just talk business strategy, we dive deep into the personal stories, challenges, and mindset that come with scaling a successful business. So let's go. Thank you so much, Buki, for joining us. I'm super excited that you're here with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Why don't we just go straight into who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So I call myself a business growth mentor. I help women to get clients online. That's my specific thing, but mainly Christian women, just because I use biblical principles as well, along with mindset, to really just kind of help women who believe a lot on the word of God. And so we marry that with business principles. And so that's what I do. But my main thing is obviously helping them with strategic marketing strategies to help them be bolder, be confident, and to just implement systems to be able to really get themselves out there and acquire more clients and hit those 5-10K months, especially those who are relatively new. So that's my key thing that I do.
That's beautiful. That's really lovely. And it's really nice that you've carved a niche for yourself in the Christian world. How did that happen?
It was definitely a good thing. So for those of you who might be thinking, what does a good thing mean? Just in terms of, you have that inner, I call it an inner witness, an inner leading kind of thing. So even I didn't actually set out to become a coach or, mentor. That was not my thing. I started in the real estate world. I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years and I was started in property, but I had my highs and my lows in property, to cut a long story short. And then when I decided I wanted to obviously have a family, have children. And then I thought, it was all offline before and it was just too much. And I thought, let's come online. And so I started to do lots of different things online, like, you name it, probably I've done it in terms of like the internet world. And then just coming to a place where I felt a bit stuck in terms of I was doing all these things. I had all these different skill sets, but I was just like, okay, kind of back to the source, like, okay, God, what am I doing? Like, where is the thing? And so I really felt that I should just start to share on YouTube, right? Just share kind of things that I was doing. But also as I was doing that, because I have a strong faith, I couldn't do it without talking about my faith, right? So that was kind of like a kind of the go-to. So then that kind of led to one thing after another. And then here I am, really, kind of thing. To kind of cut a long story short. But then I guess other Christian women gravitated towards me because they could relate to kind of my angle and where I was coming from in terms, especially when it comes to money and faith. And there's a whole conversation there, but those that got it. And so, yeah. And I was able to kind of like really just kind of build connections there. And that's how things kind of started.
That's amazing. I find that it's really fun when you just hit it, where you actually feel like, this is where I'm supposed to be and this is who I'm supposed to be serving. And can you just talk a little bit more about that, like the kind of satisfaction, if I'm going to use that word, that came from that?
That is honest. I say fulfillment, as in like, when you just know that you're doing what you're called to do, what you've been designed to do. That's exactly how I feel. I feel as if like, I feel great, very grateful actually, because it's just like people who know me from before this whole business, people who know me from back in school, and they see me and they're like, this makes so much sense for you, Buki. This is who you are. And like, they know my character, they know who I am as a person. So like, that just makes so much sense. Like, I get it. Like, or they see me on Instagram and be like, this just suits you. It's just you. I'm like, yeah. And I'm just like, I know, right? I just, it's just me. It's just who I am. I love to serve. I love to help. I love to talk about God's word. I love to talk about business. It's just everything is an amazing fit. And so I don't ever feel like it's work. I feel like I'm living in my purpose. I'm doing what I'm called to do. I'm loving it. I'm making money from it. And I get to impact lives. Like the list just goes on. I can't even begin to, I feel like, it's just a really, 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 and the reason why I guess it's a big thing for me because when I was in my 9 to 5, I had this sense of just there was more to life. And I'm sure people can relate listening. I just had this sense of there's just more to life than this. I was in this job, I used to work in the city of London and, all high flyers around me, just that kind of thing. But it just there was just a disconnect in my heart. And I was like, there's more, there's more, you just feel like there's more and you just don't know what it is. And it's like, I look back probably about 10 11 years ago now plus, but I'm like, thank you that I can now, I see the more, and even, and I feel like I'm at the beginning. So I feel like I've just started. I'm not even there yet. I feel like I've just started this whole journey, but so far so good. It's been up and down. Can't say that, but where I am today, I'm grateful. Put it that way. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. And but I don't want to rush through that.
Yeah, yeah,
Those
yeah.
downs, I like to hear a lot of the downs, like
Yeah,
because
have you got time?
yes, let's do it.
Oh Lord, help me. I've just had so much. I've had a lot. Okay, so let me just start from not even in the property. I'm not in the online space. So just again, bit of a backdrop of where I've come from. I worked in real estate. I worked in property. I worked in like commercial property. I was an analyst, and I was in that realm in the corporate world. So I did like kind of reporting and that kind of stuff. And so I started to have ideas then about property, how I could do it, offline and do it like as a normal business. So anyway, long story short, I left. I had a leading that kind of inner leading again, and I left my job. The first few months of that journey was interesting because I didn't make no money, but I had a peace about I was doing the right thing. So that was kind of a weird season. My mom thought I was crazy, like why would you leave your job? All this stuff, right? But then, something broke through, and I come across this idea within that niche, and got someone to train me. And long story short, within like let's say 2 years, 2.5 years, we were making over £200,000 in revenue. And for me, from a 30K a year job thereabout, like I'm like, wow. Like, so I'm like, this was like, oh, I thought I'd hit my, I'm a millionaire, yeah, little and naive and whatever. But at the time, I feel like we made the money quite quickly. I didn't really know what I was doing. And what I had done, I had built a job, right? I thought I was building a business, but I had built a glorified job. And so what came with that money was a lot of responsibility, no systems in place. Everything was just like money coming in, but it was just a hot mess. So I started to lose passion for it. Wasn't really organized. Bless, we had an assistant, and she was kind of like, because obviously I just loved my character. She was trying to help the best she could, but it was just kind of all over the place. In my heart, I knew it. And then the market turned as well, i.e., things in that market weren't doing that well. Just the whole thing went belly up. Just put it that way. And so, in a whole maybe, I don't know. So we were, let's say, maybe 3-4 years, we're doing reasonably okay. Well, and then kind of a 2-year decline, almost like. So it was just like downhill, downhill, downhill. Then I got pregnant, and that's another story because I took 7 years to get pregnant. Finally got pregnant to the glory of God. And I had, rather than having like 3 months morning sickness, then it dies down, I had it the other way around. I had 6 months of sickness, and it was terrible. So I was not only working for myself, not only tired of the business, into sickness and all the stuff that comes with just it was just a lot. It was just when I think about it now, I'm like, I don't know how I got through it. But anyway, right? The business just went down. We lost lots of money. And that was the place where I kind of was at my lowest point. I was like, okay, I don't know. I thought I heard you, Lord. Maybe I just misheard you. Like, what did I do wrong? All these types of things. And it was just during that place where I started to try drop shipping. I started to do t-shirt on the print on demand. I learned then how to, just I started learning marketing. I learned how to be able to source properties from from home. So I was able to, I started using Facebook ads. I started to find properties up in the north of the UK and match them with sellers and investors and all that kind of stuff. I was doing all these different things, and it was working to some degree, but it was kind of like, like it was just like a deal here and a deal there and a sale here on e-commerce and a sale here on e-commerce. Everything was just kind of like everywhere. So it was kind of, yes, money was coming in, but it wasn't anything to write home about. And it was a bit like, I had to use the word blah. I was a bit like blah. Like, what's going on? Like, it was just everywhere. And I was just, and this was over a period of a couple of years as well, just kind of finding your feet. So that was a lot. How much more do you want to know? There's so much. If I can keep going, there's so much I can tell you about my lows, right? I can keep going.
Yeah.
And so where I was now. So, but thankfully, let me start with some highs, right? So then obviously back to that whole thing of surrendering and like, Lord, I need help. And so I felt called to kind of just start doing videos on YouTube. But I thought to myself, YouTube, like, how do you make money on YouTube? You need to have like thousands of followers. I'm a nobody. It's gonna take me forever. It's gonna take years. I go think to myself, like, this is crazy. But I just had this leading to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how people got so many followers, all that kind of stuff. It's still quite a low channel right now, just because I never stayed consistent. But it was through that started to, just kind of find my feet and started to serve people and get clients. But then when I finally decided to launch a membership or launch something, I struggled to fill a $47 a month membership. And the quality of what I was giving, I knew what I was giving was so, I was like, I never forget this in my life. A lady, bless her soul, she tried to price me down. And I said, how do you price out a $47 a month membership? I said, you're meeting weekly. This is weekly. I was delivering. This is when I first got started. I was delivering at the highest level. I was literally coaching, and I was calling it a membership, but I knew that I knew that it was more than what I was giving. And someone said, $47, a bit too much. Like, can it be? I was like, oh my God, are you serious? And I was just like, Lord, deliver me from this. I was like, so it was a lot. It was like, I had people interrogating and asking questions. I was thinking, it's $47 a month, right? It's not even like, and I was just thinking to myself, I am doing something way wrong here. Yeah, right. So that was kind of the early stages of my journey, just trying to kind of find my feet and, see a crying of laughter. Can't even laugh. I never forget that in my life. It was such an amazement to me. But anyway, so yeah, so I guess that was part of my journey, until I really just knew that it was a mindset thing, right? So here with me now, and that's why I'm very passionate about teaching a mindset, because what God had to do with me was teach me, really school me. There's a book that my audience know very well that I talk about. It's called Millionaire Habits, and the 12 Laws That Guarantee Financial Success by Scott Anderson. And that book, I feel like God just took me through a study period of that book. And through that, I was able to kind of, it was not a Christian book. It was kind of anyone can read it from whatever, but as I was reading the laws of success, I realized that every single law was founded on biblical principles. I could identify that this is actually a biblical principle. And so I created like a workbook from that, because I studied it. I was like, oh, wow. Like, it just kind of, it opened up my mind. I was like, okay, you need to just kind of stop thinking too low, right? Stop it. I am self-sabotaging myself. All the things, fear, all the things was what being unbirthed. And then, so thankfully, God being so good, I landed a $9,000 client, because I was doing agency type work as well. I was going to do Facebook ads agency. I was doing all the kind of things. I was on Upwork. I was doing little things before I started coaching. But a client that I'd spoken to, well, not a client, a prospect I'd spoken to from back, found me, and this was during the time I was doing the study. So I was like, God, you're amazing. Like, right. So, and so obviously from that, I was like, okay, this is like a 3K a month client, right? And so I'm like, from $47 a month, struggling to fill that, I'm like, okay, I found my feet. I'm like, okay, let's go. I was like, I was ready for the marketplace now, and it built my confidence, and it really, really helped. And I really believe that was God, because it was the guy who came and found me, and I really thought that it was God's love just to kind of like, okay, now you're ready to up level and move forward. And this is what I want for you. It's not down there, it's up here. And so, yeah, it's kind of like the beginning of my kind of, better part of the journey, as it were. Yeah, right. So
That's
yeah.
listening to your story it's just a joy. Like just to see some of the things that you've had to go through to come
Yeah.
to where you are right now. And we're talking about scaling with confidence. And for those of you that are watching, Buki and I share faith. We share the same faith in God. And so I can relate so well to some of those landmarks and the inner witness and all of that. It's just a blessing to see what God is doing in your life. So after you got your first 9K client, how did you get another client, or like were you
So
now
no, I
trying to
invested.
sell more?
I see it. So I invested in myself. I'm very big on investing in myself. For me, like I just was like, no, I need to get a coach. I got a coach. So it's like almost like I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this program first. I'm gonna do what I need to do there. I'm gonna do this program there. I was just like, I was so like, I knew I needed to still refine and get better. I had knowledge, but then I didn't have everything. I didn't know everything. Mm-hmm. And so my first thing was, great, I can get a coach. And then I did that. And then I think in that first coach I got, did I get a client there? I think I did. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I got another client. I got another coach. I got a 3-month coach, another 3 months. So that all of that just kind of built me up. All of that. And I'm very big, very, very big on investing in myself. And I tell you something, some of the ladies I coach today, I know that they've been doing this online thing for more than I have. Mm-hmm. But I know part of the reason, obviously, I thank God for where he's taking me, but I do understand the power of investing in yourself. It does catapult you forward, because mm-hmm. actually what you don't know. The mm-hmm. more time you spend trying to work it out yourself, the more time you're wasting. And I'm like, I have not got time to waste. I knew where I'd come from. I just need to know how to get up there. And my eyes were always like there, up there, up there, up there. Do you know what? I was always looking up. So I was like, and the other thing was my property business. When I first started that particular business, I invested to start it, mm-hmm. but I didn't have ongoing support. So that for me was a lot, was that actually if I had somebody throughout my business there, maybe I wouldn't have crashed. Maybe I would have had someone to tell me what to do. Maybe I would have been more aware of those systems at the time, but I didn't have that. So I'm so big on that, to not only have that for myself, but to make sure that I can be a support for somebody else, to like be that guidance and help you through, because business is lonely. Let's be real. It's very lonely. Mm-hmm. And so, those that kind of want to kind of do it alone, I would just recommend that you just don't. just don't do it alone. Like, mm-hmm. find support, find a network, find people, find a coach, find a mentor, find whatever you need to do, but don't do it alone, because it can look easy from like, you could go on YouTube and you could try and watch every video under the sun to try and make it happen. But the reality of it is, they're going to tell you the bits and bobs you need. There's going to be gaps. There's going to be gaps, and you're not them. I could talk about this forever, but listen, I just feel like that was a big thing for me. And I think it was a big catalyst for me as well, being able to invest in myself and then just get better results going forward. Yeah.
If you're watching from home and you're wondering, what does that mean? Part of it is being on this journey and listening to all these amazing people, expert like Buki today, but even after that, there's a lot more, right? Each of these people have amazing work that they do. And coming back to you, Buki, so what exactly is it that you do with your clients right now?
So right now, specifically, I am big on building systems. Okay. What I was doing before a lot was helping those who were kind of like relatively new to kind of just find their feet and just get some clients here and there, which I still do. But now, like, I'm big on systems and sales systems. What do I mean by sales systems? It's just building a funnel for yourself, if that's the kind of word we know in the world, funnel for yourself that really connects with your audience. One thing about the online space is you can wear yourself out if you don't know what you're doing. You can just get worn out. You're going live, you're doing launches every other month. I just finished the launch myself, and it can be exhausting. And so I'm very big on, okay, let's create wealth. God says, those of you that may not know, says, I've given you power to create wealth. But so let's be smart. How do the wealthy think? Well, the wealthy don't do everything themselves. That's one error. Number two, they have systems in place. So then they have people that work for them. So all those things, you're going to think, okay, well, how can my little solopreneur self, be wise and smart and start to think like someone who's making millions, right? I'm not at 7 figures yet, right? But the whole thing is, that's my aspiration. I will get there. Coming into me in a couple of years, I'll be there, right? So, but that's the thing. But how do they think? So I'm already thinking there. You've got to think smart down here and be like, okay, well, I need to get systems in place. What does that look like? So I really help them to build out wherever they are at. There's different kind of systems that I kind of focus on. There could be training series, like a or webinar, kind of like a webinar, but like a 3-part training series, building like a funnel, your email sequences, not just having email sequences, but actually how is your lead magnet? How are those things actually connecting with your audience? What is happening? Not just because we can just build a lead magnet, that's just building your list. And more about what is the quality of that? What is your offer? What is the actual flow of that? Because you want the right people to come to your funnel. You want to get the people at the other end to pay you at the higher level. So you have to think about, I'm very big on thinking about exactly who your client is, taking them through a process from A to B to get them on the phone with you to be able to close a client. Have people, for the grace of God, who've come through my system, as it were, get on the phone is like, I just love what you do. I want to hear, what do you offer? And that's without me launching, that's without me doing certain things. It's because the system's in place to nurture and do all of the things so that when they get on the phone, they're already sold. They're almost like 70% of them are sold. And they're like, yep, where do I sign? Kind of thing. I'm not having to convince anybody. So I'm not a sales coach, but my marketing has a sales psychology that sells, so that when I get on the phone, it literally just a conversation. And so we're not having to like feel that we have to. Someone asked me, how do you convince people to buy? I don't convince people to buy. I don't do that. I literally just I demonstrate my expertise. I demonstrate I'm the right person for you. I can help you. And when we get on the phone, it's now a part of a decision, and can you move forward, that kind of thing. I'm not really someone who has these convincing strategies or kind of thing, because I believe marketing should do that for you at a high level. So I'm big on using marketing systems and sales systems, all that kind of stuff to before you get on the phone. So you're spending time. The first coach I had, I'll tell you quickly, first coach I had, bless her heart, really good coach. But the strategy was to get people on the phones like that. And I was getting all these phone calls. And I was like, this is just like exhausting, because they're like, I'm having to find myself convincing people. Yeah. I don't want to do that. And so so that's the thing, you're going to get coaches, they're going to have different strategies for you. You have to kind of find your way. But really great. I learned a lot from her. So that definitely learned a lot. But the thing was, I wanted to kind of have a gateway, a gatekeeper before the phone. And so that all those things are what I teach my clients to do. Have your system be a gatekeeper for you before you have that conversation, so you're getting the right people on the phones.
I love that. Yeah. Have your system be the gatekeeper for you. While sometimes you're sleeping, while sometimes you're on vacation.
Exactly. And I'm always testing out different systems and different things to kind of enhance it and improve it, kind of thing. So yeah.
Let's assume someone is watching from home and they're here thinking, yes, I need to have sales system in place in my business, but there's also the launches. You were just jokingly mentioned the launches and the energy and all that. Do you find a balance between the two, or you just full on one or full on the other?
I think there's a good balance. Like, so I think that I think launching is good. It's not a bad thing to do launches, right? I think it can, you don't be, but the thing is, you don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah.
This is what I feel like it's good to have. Like, I have a previous client who, she just said, she's got to do a launch to get the clients. And I was like, well, that's the whole point of you coming onto the program, because you don't need to have to do, that's the point. You get to choose. Now you got kids, you want to be able to choose the best time for you rather than having to launch to make money. So I say, it's good to launch. I think it's good. I love doing them when I can do them. I think it's, just imparting and sewing into people is great. However, because of it takes a lot of time out of you. Like, bless my son. My son was like, Mom, you're always on call. Because he went back to school this week, and it was the week I was doing the challenge. And he's like, Mom, you're always on the phone. And I was like, oh, bless you. And I was like, I didn't choose the greatest time to do it, but I was like, don't worry, I'm almost finished now. So now I'm like, okay, but back to like booking things in my time, not having to do it in a way that is like when you're always there. So I think you can definitely do launches. I wouldn't suggest doing them so much though, because it can be very exhausting, and you end up finding yourself resenting your business because you're just tired all the time, right? Because you're always launching. So I would say have the systems in the background, and if you want to launch, then do the launch as well.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that. And especially when you shared how the real estate business and you built that job,
glorified job. Yes, exactly.
Because when we start to talk about scaling, you have a lot of processes, and scaling is more clients, more money, more, all of these things, but does not necessarily mean back-to-back meetings and everything so exhausting, and which is possibly another glorified job, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I thought you have to really be careful. One thing I cautioned myself on initially, I was like all about the money. Let's make money. Let's get clients. Let's get clients. Let's get clients. And I realized that, Buki, pause. You're gonna find yourself doing what you did in the real estate game. You're gonna have to kind of take some time out to pause and stop and put the systems in place first. So like I think I showed you before, I was like, I spent a few months this year just kind of like, okay, I wanted to kind of build another element. It's gonna take me time to build, and I'm not gonna have to be front facing. So that will sometimes make your revenue dip a little bit just to build, so you have everything in place to be able to kind of scale well. So you kind of, and it's another thing I say, don't rush to get to groups so quickly. Everyone's like, I see people adverts, drop one-to-one coaching and go to group coaching. Listen, the key thing you want to do is get people's results. To get them results, you have to know your client. To know your client, you've got to serve your client. So I would say, listen, just if you want to build, if you're going to build for the, I'm big on build for the long term, build a legacy business. Don't just do it for making money's sake. So if you're going to do that, what you need to do is you need to take the time to have those one-to-one clients, to understand them, to understand so that you can then build a group structure that will then, you'd have the understanding and the wisdom to serve them well and get them the results that they need. Otherwise, you're just going to kind of enroll, and you're not going to serve them well, and then it's not going to really, it won't be easy. When you get good testimonials, that's going to make your business much easier. So I was like, no, I'm going to just stop a little bit, take some time out to really just focus, get the results, get the systems in place, and then you can then take in batches, right? Don't be in a rush as I say, to make the big figures. It's going to take a bit of time, but once you get there, and everyone, I have 7-figure coaches, 8-figure coaches who I just listen to the key nuggets that they have to say, and it's kind of all the same. It's like you got to really build the I call it the arc. You got to build the boat, the system, the arc first, and then you can get the people in. Otherwise, you're going to crash. That's every business, I think.
Yeah. I love that. And I think it's coming as a timely message for everyone listening to this, because if you have some income coming in business and you're thinking you want to scale, the natural way to think is, okay, now I need to get 20 people, 30 people in my group, and and then obviously where that comes to is unsatisfied clients also, because there's no way you're going to coach 30 people and everybody will be satisfied, right?
Exactly.
In the same coaching program. So thank you for sharing that.
I can't tell you how many people, just to interrupt you, I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to that say to me they spent thousands on this coach, this big mega coach. They didn't get any, they didn't feel that they got their questions answered. They felt they were lost. They felt like they were just kind of, no one was really there for them. That's the thing. You don't want that to be your testimony. Like, you're gonna, that coach that they were in their program will be shouting to the rituals how much money they've made, and oh yeah, I've done this, I've done that. But how well were you serving the people that you had with you? That's the how well were you there for them? How did you impart into them? Do they get the results that you said you're going to deliver? Do we hear about that? We hear the money, we don't hear about the quality of the service underneath. And so it all comes together to kind of serve well.
I know a few coaches, some of my coaches would also hire coaches that would help the journey easier, smoother for smaller groups of people. So yes, you may not, as you're scaling, you may not have access to everyone, but you have exactly.
But that doesn't, that's fine. That's fine. I think as long as you get the results you're after, it doesn't have to be the main person on the top. As long as the person at the top can put the system in place to serve the people, so that people get the results. I think that's what matters. I think so. Like the 8-figure coach I had, like he was, I didn't have a call with him. he's up there, but I got served.
Yes.
And I got the answers I needed when I needed them. So that's the key thing, I think.
Very good. Very good. I really love the part that you're helping us to see that balance, that it's not just about the scaling, it's the processes that you need to have in place, the SOPs and all of the things that team members and everything that needs to come in. Now, what would you say is the first investment apart from coaching and sales?
I would definitely say, first thing I did was to get a virtual assistant who helped me with lead generation, very specific, not just any virtual assistant to do kind of things. It was to help me to get me more exposure and get me more leads. because obviously you want to grow, you're by yourself. So I was like, okay, posting on social media and all this stuff, like it takes time, right? And to get visible, it takes time. So my first thing I would say, definitely for sure, hire somebody that can do your lead generation for you. So that way you have your magnet in place, you have your group, whatever it is, then that person goes out and then gets more eyes on your content, gets more people opting into your content, gets more people opt. So as long as your thing is attractive, then that's going to bring them into your system. So obviously, you know, it's going to get your list building. So list building is really, really important. That's what I would say will definitely be the first thing to do. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Because that now eases off things for you. You can focus on doing what you love to do while clients are coming into the sales system that you've built.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Now, what's something that you wish you knew at the beginning of your coaching business?
I spent a lot of time in the beginning giving value and not getting enough clients. And I say that by not giving specific call to actions, not being intentional about actually taking them, like, and I say sales system, it could be as simple as at least just being mindful of, okay, I need to get more people. I need to really get people to come and converse with me about my offices and my services. But I was, you know, wonderful Christian content out there, encouraging and giving the world value, which is great. It's a wonderful thing to do. Don't pay the bills though.
Yeah.
So I don't know pay
and keep the lights on.
Exactly. So if I knew earlier that actually I need to be like more intentional with my call to actions, with a bit more assertive with, you know, putting offers out there and inviting people to my next step, even if it's just a phone call. As a beginning, you're starting out, I would say make sure that you are doing that, being more intentional to make sure you're like, listen, I need to get people to know about my services, give value, yes, but don't just leave it there, give value and then give a call to action. So I think that would be the basic thing I would have done in the beginning if I knew.
I thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being vulnerable here. Because, you know, I this is exactly one of the challenges that I get, especially coaching people to do videos and saying you need to have a call to action at the end of your video. And people are like, I forgot again, right? You know, and
it has to be the reason why you're doing it to some degree. I mean, there are times when you want to just do it and give value, but then you have to then think, okay, I got to do it again to then give a call to action. If you have to practice it. Just do what you need to do to go execute that call to. And actually, one of the things built my business a lot was I was doing my lives. My lives, funny enough, before I had all the systems in place, my lives did actually build my business a lot because people would come to my lives and I would give a call to action and I'd always get at least one person on the phone. So if I'm doing that regularly enough, then that was good. I was getting clients through just doing live videos. So hey, you need to listen to Olu.
You know, and I think it's connected also with, you know, the fact that a lot of times, yes, we're trying to build a business, but most of us entrepreneurs start as it's more like a passion project, you know. There's some passion in it, you know, and so you feel easy, you feel okay to just give, and you forget that your family sent you to the business.
Yes, I was teaching this today. Literally, I was saying to my people that listen. So I don't know if you guys have ever come across Robert Kiyosaki's business investment triangle. He has this triangle, right? And if you know in that triangle, if you don't know it, please go and Google it. But on the top of the triangle is the product. It's a very small triangle. And at the bottom, the biggest part is the cash flow. But on top of that is the communications, right? But what we do is we hover in the product services space because that's our place of comfort. That's what we know as the passion product. Right? And so we're hovering there, doing our website, staying there, loving what we're doing. But it's like, that is not the business. The business is marketing. You gotta get out there, you gotta communicate what you do and to get the cash. And then to get the cash, you gotta communicate. But then that's where that's the training part that the people need. This is what you're listening to today, is learning how to communicate that, because otherwise you're gonna be doing this and not making any money.
And before you know it, you're gonna be in scarcity mode.
Exactly. You gotta be think forward, definitely from early on. So
Thank you. Any last thing, anything that you'd like people to know? Or
yes, I would actually. For those of you that maybe have a Christian faith, I do have like a community. It's called Kingdom Wealth Creators. Something very new that God put in my spirit, but it's just really a support space to help you again, it's a low ticket membership. And this one I struggled to fill it, which was thankful. With the wisdom I have now. But anyway, but it's just designed for exactly that. It's designed for community to have they can support connection points, accountability. You will learn a little bit about how to grow your business if you're starting out in terms of social media, just kind of the key kind of basic things. And also we have like just a monthly kind of, we call it like a fellowship momentum call, just to support you also in faith as well as practically.
I'm really glad that we got to do this, and I'm glad that, people are gonna, follow you. And I think even people that are not faith-based viewers, just go try it out and see what she has.
Just have a listen. There's no harm done, right?
Exactly.
Everyone welcome, I'll say. Yeah. I really enjoyed this chat, actually. It's been really good.
Thank you so much for listening to Scaling with Confidence. If you'd like to be featured on this show, check us out at scalingwithconfidence.com/cashflow and attend my next live challenge, where I'll reveal the 3 secrets to increasing your visibility for more profit. And if you're an entrepreneur that would like to be celebrated for your success and be on this show, please visit scalingwithconfidence.com/guest. Keep shining. The world needs your light.